Welcome everyone, this is Master's Joke, also Master's Joke 75 on Instagram. So these are the Chewie and Han Solo from the Solo series that I picked up from Ollie's. $9.99, let your eyes be your guide. Not a cheap price, because I've seen this, well, not this particular set, but I've seen 2 packs from the Solo series going for like $5.99 in Ross for Less. And what's the other place? Ross for Less and also TJ Maxx. So it was $9.99. But I've always wanted. There was another set. If you saw my toy hunt video in Ollie's, there was another set from Solo that I would have liked to have got. But I just picked up this one because I've always wanted this one, because I think it's a wonderful scene when Han Solo and Chewie meet up for the first time, when they're both chained up. Han in his Imperial uniform covered in mud. The same with Chewie. I think the paint on Chewie just looks amazing. So there's no articulation in these figures at all. These are the basic figures from the Solo movie. But I love the toys. I've got the Lando, which the Lando 2-pack, which I picked up from I think that was from my last trip to Florida in 2019. So I've got a few figures. I've also got the Millennium Falcon with all the blue lights on. So I love these toys. They're innocent, they're basic, but they're great. They're what Star Wars is all about for me, which was the toys. I love the movies, but it was the toys where I actually made my own adventures. So I think these figures are great. $9.99 wasn't a bad price. I've wanted these for a while. I've not seen them for sale at any toy fairs or anything like that. But we have a look. So Chewie, well, Han, if you have a look at him, he comes with loads of like mud on his face. He's caked in mud, which is nice that the actual mould shows. The mould looks like he's caked in mud rather than just painting mud straight on. So yeah, his whole outfit is covered in mud. It would have been nice if he came with a helmet as well. He's got his blaster. You know, it's, as I mentioned, it's just basic articulation. Doesn't really do anything, but I love it. It does what you want a toy to do. Get into focus again. And I love the Solo movie, and to me this is Han Solo. I'd love them to do a sequel, especially now we've got Darth Maul back. So that was disappointing, but yeah, this movie got slated like a lot of the the sequel movies from Disney, but I think it's a really good movie. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. I also love the chains on around his foot as well, which is the same. I think it's the same on Chewie, but you can see that there. So I think it's a lovely little set. And then, as I mentioned, you've got Chewie as well. But look, his fur is just caked in mud. It's a basic figure. You know, there'll be people saying it looks rubbish, but it is what it is. I love it. I love this set. I'm so glad I picked it up. Just great. I mean, you can't go wrong. For $9.99 or $9.99 for that, I think it's great. I'm so happy I picked it up. Yeah, no articulation, but it's quite a solid. It's a solid Wookiee. It's a solid figure, and I think he'll look great in a collection. I think he's going to go in, although he's not vintage collection, I think he's going to go in the Navarro Cantina. I mean, you might say his face isn't the best, but it looks like Chewie to me. But this is what surprised me, was this accessory here. So you've got this cannon, and I've got to say, this gives the vintage collection a run for their money, because I did a review on. Do you remember that Stormtrooper that came with a cannon that looked like the Kenner, you know, the Kenner mini rig days? And it's absolutely rubbish. this is basic. It doesn't do a lot, but it's very stable, solid, doesn't fall apart. Proper old school, like, you know, proper kind of like World War II in looks, but it does what you want a cannon to do. That vintage collection Stormtrooper cannon, just absolutely rubbish. I hate it. I haven't got it on display because it just falls apart. It's rubbish. And then they can do this for like $9.99. I think it's great. It's got a nice little weight to it as well. It doesn't fall over. So yeah, well happy with that. So I'm just gonna set up Han with the cannon and just see what he looks like. Right, so I've got Han set up with the cannon, which on first inspection it does look really good. I said it was really solid, and I think Han looks good. But if I'm honest, it is just cheap rubbish, really. I mean because you can't, because he's got no knees, you can't bend him into a decent kind of pose. The cannon kind of sits on its front two kind of legs, but it's just a toy, isn't it? Also the handles are really flimsy, so if you weren't careful, if a kid, if it was like the old me from the 1980s playing with this toy, those handles, if I was using it every day like I used to with my Star Wars toys, which the majority of them still exist in my collection, although very much played with, this cannon would be broken by now because the handles are just so weak. They would, if you played with this long term, these handles will just break off. Yeah, you've got to be so gentle with it. I mean, the handles are flexible. Try and get into focus. So the handles are really flexible, but they're not ideal. They're not great. They will break off at some point. But for display purposes, it's a really good good cannon. It's got some lovely detailing as well, like all the battle damage and scarring on the armour. So I like it. I think it is. Reminds me of the old. Reminds me of the 80s. This is definitely something I would have loved in the 80s, but as I say, it would have got broken in my house from overuse. But I mean, maybe you could just place, for display purposes, to stop any kind of strain on the actual handles themselves. Maybe you could just put hands just over. But I think it's a lovely model, and I've put the blaster in Chewie's hands. But yeah, this is a great set. I'm so glad that I picked it up for $9.99 from Ollie's. And as I've said, I didn't spend too much. I just bought too much stuff. That, let's be honest, I could have bought it all in the UK anyway, most of it. But yeah, really good. Highly recommended. If you love, if you love the old basic figures and you love Solo, I would definitely pick it up because it's got great detailing for such a basic, limited figure. Yeah, 10 out of 10. Honestly, 10 out of 10 for this set. I really like it. But that is the end of the video. Just a quick one, and I think it's one of the final figures that I had to open at the villa on the morning that I was that I had to fly back to Gatwick. But that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. It lets me know you care. Also helps the channel. I mean, just look at that though. Now I'm going on about it, but look, if you see the detailing, all the mud splattered on his Imperial uniform, they've done a really nice job on this. I'd love to see this figure in the vintage collection. Definitely. Look at it. It's just covered, caked. It just reminds me of a World War II soldier in the trenches. But yeah, that is the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. It lets me know you care. Also helps the channel. And I'll see you in the next one.